Welcome back to Oakfield Farm for episode 6 with me, MrSealyp. The sun is coming up on another glorious day in Gloucestershire, and I'm heading over to field 20, the Glos crisps field that we are now doing some work on for them. The one that looks like it has got potatoes already put in it, but when you look on the map it shows as harvested. So what I'm doing is ploughing. I got up nice and early before it even got light, as you've already seen, and started ploughing. I've set a worker on that. I'm now going to go up here with the Bruns fertiliser spreader, and I'm going to spread some fertiliser granules on that field in preparation for potato seeding, which is what they need done, because they want 300,000 litres of potatoes. So that's going to be coming off of those fields. They belong to them, so I'm just helping them out. Obviously up on field 35 I think it was, where we found our secret field in the last episode, that all needs that's going to need ploughing. I could probably just this season go over the top of it, seed, spray, spread, whatever I need to, but I'm going to plough it. So let's just, I think we need to take it as read that any field I'm getting I'm going to plough, especially this season, ready for crops. You don't need to see every single episode me ploughing fields, you're going to get bored of that. And I am going to lease. It was suggested there's no point me bothering to lease a cultivator for field 13, because I do need to cultivate that field. That was my error, and it does need to be done, because I could just replough it, and that's fine again, but it's just more ploughing. So as you can see, the money's gone up a bit again. I did some wood chipping overnight. Now, contrary to what I said I was going to do, and I said I was going to buy probably a standard wood chipper, or lease a standard wood chipper, wood chip into a trailer and go and sell it. It's not a cost-effective way of doing it, only because, like I said when I was talking about doing it, the price of wood chips fluctuates. So for a whole trailer full of wood chips, I'm going to get next to no money. As it is, the medium-ish to small-ish trees on this map, last night when I was doing it, I was only getting about 1,500 per tree. Compare that to the Valley of the Old Farm, where in Spring 1 I was getting, or Spring 2, I was getting about 6,000 or 7,000 per tree. Wood chipping is not the way to go on this map, and I'm really honestly, I've said this 2 or 3 episodes now, racking my brains to think of a really good way to make enough money. This may be one of those maps where I just literally make enough money to get by. So I'm a bit kind of, what do you do? As you can see, the worker is going up and down ploughing. AJ at Glos Crisps has said they will lend me whatever equipment I need. That's not going to cost me anything to do this. I might have to pay for the seed myself, I think, to start off with, which is going to get a bit pricey for doing potatoes. But what I am going to do is get some fertiliser spread on this field while that's happening. I will then go over to the new secret field over by 35, whatever you want to call it. I did say, was I going to call it 35A or was it 32A or 33A? I can't remember. And what we'll do is we'll get that ploughed. Then I need to get over and I need to cultivate 13. The grass is starting to grow. I do need to start cutting grass and preparing hay and those kind of things as well, so that will be happening at some point. And obviously the field work continues. It's kind of, you know, you say to yourself, oh, I must engage that thing. I keep forgetting, engage that. I don't think I disengaged it last time, but you sort of say to yourself, it's not exciting stuff, you know, but it needs doing. That's the point. This has all got to be done. This is all the prep work ready for the season. So while the plough is continuing to quite literally plough on, I will get some fertiliser on the ground. Don't need the beacons on. Take those off. It's going to take a while. It doesn't matter. Got all day, literally. So as far as crops go, yeah, I am going to soybean field 13, but that's going to have to be once I can actually finally put soybean in the ground. And that was me jumping the gun a little bit. I still need to seed 34, but again, it's a little bit early. Ground temperature is only 5, so I can get away with stuff at the moment, but the ground is damp. As you can see, moisture level, so that's not going to be as straightforward, but again, not the end of the world. We are set for rain though the next 2 days, so that's going to be a bit of a pain. I want to try and get ploughing done now, only because it's going to get boggy and horrible, and you don't want to get your tractors bogged down, do you? That's going to be something, so I say, to look forward to. I know the whole ground response situation and stuff, and I know the seasons mod has got a lot more scope. I know Realismus modding, it's been kind of mentioned a couple of times. There are a few things on the mod which don't seem to be relevant at the moment, but they are looking at how they can have an impact in the future. So things like wet ground for ploughing should be harder to do. Tractors, you get wheel slip and bogged down and that kind of stuff. That would make it really, really interesting. How that will translate over to console, I don't know. That may end up just being a kind of PC option, I suppose. I don't know. But anyway, who knows. So as far as the wood chipping goes, I did buy another static wood chipper, and I wood chipped a lot during the night. And like I say, only 1,500 tree. I had a couple of big trees which went through, which obviously boosted the money a little bit. Needless to say, I think I've done about 80 trees, and I only managed to get up to 129,000 last night, which brought me back to covering the cost of the wood chipper itself. But then obviously I wanted a little bit extra because I really do want to upgrade the horsepower on the Massey Ferguson. So that's going to be something else I need to do, probably or hopefully in this episode. I'm either going to do a time lapse, but yeah, again, time lapse of ploughing, but might get a bit boring. So I might just cut to the end of finishing off this field, and then we'll sort out what we're going to do with regard to the others. So yeah, what I'll do is carry on for a little bit, and unfortunately I think I've got this bit to do down here, but I'm catching up with the plough. But this is quite a big field, and I'm thinking, because Glos Crisps have already got potatoes in the field next to it, which is field, what was it, 6? Yeah, field 6. That's already got potatoes in. Oh yeah, just to clarify something, I did mention this in one of the episodes, and I was asked the question, saying what did I do to get crops in the ground? There was no implication that I cheated, but with Seasons mod it resets everything to harvested. And you know what? I thought that too. I haven't done anything. There's been no kind of jiggery-pokery going on here. Nothing deceitful. I just went on to do contracts on fields, and some of the contracts, when I set Seasons on, some of the fields were already showing as having a crop in the ground, which I didn't think happened until Season 2. But they were showing as light green, and I did the contract on them because, well, I needed the money for the contract, but I wanted to have a go. So interestingly, for me anyway, there were a couple of fields that I could buy, because somebody said, well, if you've bought field 5 and you've bought field, well, I'd buy 3, wasn't it? 3 and 5. if they go through the growth cycle now, you're just going to end up with stubble in the ground. It won't work. But they're already showing us having crops in, and they were from the start, and I did contracts on them before I bought them, so I'm assuming they're going to be fine. So I don't know, we'll see how that pans out as well. This is virgin territory for me with regard to this map. It's all seemed to work okay on the Valley of the Old Farm, so I will see you in a bit. I'm just going to get some more of this done, and hopefully I'll see you when I'm finished. Right, Plough's dropped off. Fent is parked up. That Bruns fertiliser spreader. Let me just check who that mod was by. I can't remember who it was by. I hope I haven't got rid of the thing. NKB modding. That's a brilliant bit of kit. 8,000 litre capacity. That is a very economical way. I've just done quite a few fields and not really had to put much into it. It's still got 3,000 litres in it. So that's brilliant. I'm really, really happy with that. I'm just going to give the Massey a wash, and then we're going to bump up the horsepower. More powers needed. Then we're going to release a cultivator, and then we're going to cultivate field 13. I did think about maybe trying to just seed over the top, but I don't think that'll work. We are looking good. Ground temperature is 5 degrees, which means there are a few crops I can do now. I can do wheat, I can do barley, I can do canola, oilseed rape, and I can do potatoes and sugar beet, which means my work over on field 20 and field 6 for Glos crisps can go ahead. It does also mean I was going to put oilseed rape canola in the ground over on field 34, which means I can seed that straight away. My only area of my problematic area at the moment is field 13, so that's going to be the next thing. I'm thinking with regard to baling. That's better. With regard to baling, repair. Let me customise it. Yeah, of course it will. So engine setup, I can go from 300 horsepower to 350 horsepower to 400 horsepower. I'm going to 400. There's no point doing it in increments. I might as well do it in one hit. Customise. Okay. Yeah, as far as baling goes, I'm going to bale straw and store straw for bedding. Where I'm going to store it, I'm not too sure at the moment, but I'm going to store straw for bedding. And then grass and hay I'm going to collect either with a loading wagon or with the trailer and the snowblower. That snowblower is a brilliant bit of kit and it works really, really well. And put it into the silo. That's going to be a no-brainer. What I will do... Actually, I want to check... Let's check the price of things, shall we? I know these prices are all a bit hit and miss. They're all over the place because I've had quite a few people comment when I've made a few comments myself because I'm not quite sure. You know, the numbers don't match up with what I'm getting and that kind of thing. And people have said that these are artificially set for the first year. After the first year, then they kind of readjust themselves. If I'm going to buy sheep myself, cows I'll get 25 if I do the contract for Glos crisps, and I'll get a solar panel, which is pretty cool. But sheep are the cheapest in autumn. Great. I didn't really want to wait that long for them, and they are really expensive now. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll just hold off and wait till autumn. If I do the contracts for Glos crisps and get some cows, I can work on them maybe to start off with. But then even cows... Oh no, cows are cheapest in summer. If I can get all the potatoes planted, maybe get an advance on the cows. I don't know. I'm not paying for them, but if I can save them a bit of money, maybe. We'll see how that pans out. So what I'm going to do first then, with my newly souped up tractor, actually what I'm going to do, let's have a look in here. So it should now say 400 horsepower. Very nice. The other thing I'm considering too is selling the Massey Ferguson Activa. I do need a harvester for harvest season, but I don't need it yet. And I might do what I did on the Valley of the Old Farm and lease a harvester for my first season. Because I need the money. And that harvester's just going to sit in the barn until autumn. So, yeah, maybe. It's an idea, it's a thought. Right, I'm going to go, and I'm going to go down to the store. And I'm going to lease a cultivator. It's going to eat into my money a little bit. I know it's a false economy, but I'm going to do it. The other thing I'm going to do is get rid of this baler. That was a mistake. I should have got a square baler because there's a new bale trailer about that I might want to give a little bit of a go with, and it's not going to work with the round bale. I mean, it can work with the round bales, but to be fair, I'm going to go square. I just wish I could make my mind up, you know. Be a bit more decisive, MrSealyp. I do that every single time I come down there. I cut that corner too tight. I'm not rallying. I'm not quite sure why I do that. Anyway, I'm going to go to the store. I'll see you in a minute when I get back. Hopefully towing a cultivator. I'm racking my brains trying to think why I came back through the yard. I could have come up through the lane actually, carried on the main road and up through the lane, but it doesn't matter. It's not too much of a problem. The Lemken Gigant 10 is a... Oh, blimey, what is the width? 12 metre? 14? I can't remember now. Cultivator. It requires 300 horsepower. That's why I wanted to upgrade the horsepower on the Massey Ferguson, because it's going to need it, especially on any of the hilly bits. I've used this one quite a lot. I used to use it a lot, I think, on FS15 as well. This was on there. It's a nice kind of medium-ish, especially now with the big bud stuff, cultivator. Simple, no nonsense, just does what you need it to do. That's why I like it. Actually, I'm going to check that. What was it? Cultivator Gigant, 12 metre, yeah, 12 metre one, which is fantastic. I sold the Massey Ferguson 125F round baler that I got about 9,000 for. So, and this cost about 6,000 to lease. So, it's all right. Now, as we can see, this is a disaster because this has now gone back to stubble state, and it had been seeded. So, yeah, that was an absolute. Never mind. So, what I'm hoping now though is Oh, mind you, it's gone back to stubble. There's technically no seed in the ground, is there? So it's not like I'm cultivating in a crop. So it's probably just going to stay at the fertilising state I had. But because this is 12 metre, it shouldn't take me too long. It'll be a lot quicker than using the plough. So yeah, it needed doing. Never mind. At least I won't lose my job now. That's the main thing. Although someone did comment. Who was it? Was it David or James? Somebody commented and said that would be an awesome way to end a Let's Play. Getting sacked from your job. Yeah, maybe. Don't really want to be sacked, but you know, maybe that would be an interesting way to end a Let's Play. Right, let's get the cruise control on. So again, I'm thinking maybe going across the field. I don't know how well. This only requires 300 horsepower, but that's not going to leave a lot of horsepower spare for dragging all of this lot up the hill. But we'll do the turn and we'll see how we get on. Might not do so well up the hill, but and then this field will then be ready for whatever I need to do. It's slowed down, but not too badly. That's okay. Once I get just over this little brow here, it should speed up a little bit. Or not. There you go, 7. And hopefully before the end of this episode we can get some seed in the ground somewhere. Somewhere where it's going to stay in the ground and not just die off. Fingers crossed, eh? I need to get as much seeding done as I can today. Bearing in mind it's 10 o'clock already. All that prepping field 20 and doing over field 33A. Field 20 took forever to plough. I had it on real time and I think it took me hour and a half, it was a long time. I haven't got a big plough and some of these fields are big, so it is what it is. Now I'm thinking as well, this is going to be a map where, excuse me, although it's a bit of a false economy, leasing is going to be the way to go. I'm not going to have tons of spare money. Because I'm thinking, well, I could do silage bales, buy a field. Well, buying the field's going to cost me money in the first place. But, you know, that aside, buy another field, a grass one, and do a load of silage bales, just an absolute ton of silage bales and sell them. Fine. But on seasons, you don't make as much money on silage bales as you used to, or you do on regular, some regular maps, on a map without seasons running, if that makes any sense. And I thought, well, okay, well, I could do loose silage. That might be a better way to go, and it might well be sell the silage loose. But again, you don't get a huge amount. But you know what? Any amount's got to be better. I just don't think lumber's the way to go. I might do the odd tree here and there, which will pay, like I said before, for a little bit here and there. A couple of trees might pay for a sheep, you know. But it's a lot of work, which I could do if I do it off screen. And at the end of the day, if I need to make money, I need to do it any way I can, realistically. So, yeah. Right. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I'll see you in a bit. This needs to be sorted out. And whilst I've got a wider piece of machinery than the plough, it's still going to take a little while. And that, finally, is the problem resolved. Field 13 is done. And speed cultivating, we did it in under an hour. I haven't incurred any additional costs. That's good, which means this cultivator can now go back. I just didn't want to plough it again. The grass state has actually moved. While the worker was doing some of that, I was whizzing around and checking on different things. So because the grass state's changed, I think my grass fields can all be sprayed or spread again and give myself a better yield. So I'm going to aim for that. That's going to need to be done too. So seeding. The one thing I completely failed to mention in this entire episode, look at the greenery. Spring has properly sprung, and it looks glorious. The greens are just amazing. It looks fantastic. So, yeah, spreading and spraying. Field 9 up on the top of the hill, which I put grass in, has now got grass growing, which is fantastic. So that can be sprayed too. That I'll probably do with the Fent again. I'll grab probably the sprayer rather than the spreader, but that will need refilling. And this needs to do some seeding. So what I'm going to do, actually, what we'll do, I'm going to leave the cultivator here by the entrance, and the guys at the store can come and collect it when they need it, or when they want it, or I could take it back, but I'm sure they won't mind. They're pretty good for delivery and collections, so that can go there. That worked out fantastically. I'm going to go and grab the seeder, because we do need to get some seeding done now. And I've made another decision. I've changed my mind again. I'm good at that. Field 33A at the top, the secret field, I'm going to put soybean in that. Field 13 here, I'm going to put wheat in, and field 34 I'm going to put OSR canola in. So I'm going to go and do canola now, I think, but I do need to change that. Does, I might have filled up yet to, that's canola, isn't it? Let's close that down. Should be alright. So over to field 34, let's get some seed in the ground. I've needed to do this for absolutely ages, so we'll get some seeding done. I'll see if I can make sure that when I go around the corner this time I don't bounce the thing up all over the place. That's much better. I was very conscious of doing field 13 with the cultivator, that not only did it seem like a bit of a false economy to lease a cultivator in the first place, if I then got clobbered for a second hour of leasing fees, that would have just added insult to injury. But then I suppose it's down to me to cover the costs of my mistake, so why not? So, onwards to field 34. Not too far to go, actually. I think I've got some eggs, actually. On the way to field 34, there are the stables. Is it 6 furlong stables, I think? I'm sure there's an egg sell point there. Or it might be the house is a bit further up. I'm trying to remember. I know there's an egg sell point somewhere along there. I might stop and pick up the rest of the eggs that are in the chicken coop and sell those as well. Every penny helps at the moment. Let's get beacons on. I'm not trying to intimidate the driver in front or anything, you know. Hulking Great Massey Ferguson coming up behind you with beacons on. I have to say, I watched the last weekend's episode of Top Gear, where they were improving farming in the UK. They broke the tractor speed record. The voucher that's in this game, that currently held it, I believe, they built a tractor to beat that record, and they did. I think, was it 87 or 82? They beat the record anyway. And Matt LeBlanc, who's on Top Gear, owns tractors himself, which is pretty cool. I didn't know that. I know he's a bit of a petrol head and he loves his vehicles and stuff, but I didn't know he owned tractors. That's really cool. Just thought I'd mention it. It suddenly popped into my head about the tractor speed record thing. So yeah, very, very cool. Is the egg sell point here on the right? There is an egg sell point. Don't know how many eggs I've got. But I'll sell what I've got. I'm getting to open it all the way. Just enough to get through. £215. Not bad. Oh, even if that pays for a little bit of fertiliser or a bit of seed, it's worth every penny. Let's get this done. Actually, hang on. Let me just check. Canola, yeah, 5 degrees, that's alright. And I'm in the planting window. Yes, we're fine. Grass grew fine because I was in the planting window for that. Yeah, potatoes and sugar beet, yeah, we're in the window. Okay, cool. It has been mentioned by a few different people that I should maybe think about using a geo. I think the US Northwest one, is it? Allows, you can get away with 2 crops. I think I might have mentioned it before. I might do a guide too on the geos, actually, I don't know. I'd have to think. I'm not that much of an expert on it. I'd have to have a bit of research and check it all out, because I'm not 100% myself, really. People often ask me what I'm running on this. It's just standard seasons. I haven't got a geo running, and I know some of them will allow for you getting 2 crops out of the ground. So yeah, this is just standard geo, not geo seasons. Sorry, just trying to confuse everyone more. I like the fact this seed's at 12 miles an hour. It's brilliant. I should make quite light work of this, but now going back to the episode where I put soybean in the ground and I said we're getting seed in the ground on Oakfield Farm. Yeah, this is the first. We're getting seed in the ground on Oakfield Farm, and this should stay in the ground and this should grow if we're very, very lucky. But the weather seems nice enough, and like I say, if I can get it done today before the rain comes on Thursday and Friday, we should be okay. No bogging down of tractors. Plus a bit of rain on the ground won't hurt. Now, interestingly, I've done a few episodes on Pure Farming 2018, and it's, you know, hit and miss, mixed reviews, that kind of stuff. You know, generally speaking, with the game. And I've been sort of trying to avoid comparing them, but it's impossible. I kept saying that, but it's impossible. Everything's going to be compared to FS17. Loads of people hate the game, not FS17, obviously, Pure Farming, and some people like it. And I have said a few times now, I've done 3 videos now, I think, on it. There are some features on there that I like. Watering the fields, I think that's quite cool, especially if you're running seasons now on this and you get the summer months. When you go through the summer, I think getting out and putting water on the fields is a brilliant idea. You know, a kind of slurry spreader but for water that sprays it. Or there is that like drag hose, I can never remember what it's called, that you roll out across the fields and it sprays the fields. That kind of thing I think would be a really nice addition. So, whoops, avoid that fence. Damage the tractor. Yeah, that would be quite cool, I think. So there are some features on it that are very good. I like. Very clever ideas. But obviously there are some bits people just really, really don't like. But I mean, you look at the colours on this and the, you know, the graphics, and it's got a realism that the other one doesn't have. But like I say, there are some bits. So don't write it off. There are some bits on there that are very, very good and very, very clever. So we've done a bit of everything today, haven't we? With field work wise. Ploughing, fertilising, cultivating field 13, seeding in field 34. And I think next episode I need to get onto my grass fields, get some more spray or fertiliser, probably spray fertiliser on them. And Yeah, oh yeah, seeding on field 20 for Glos crisps. That needs to be done, so we're going to have to get the potato seeder, which I don't use very often. I don't often do potatoes. Sugar beet I'll often do, but don't often do potatoes, so that's going to be something a little bit different. I get to use that really funky potato seeder. I can't remember what it's called now, but I love it, the way it opens up. I think I used it on Drummard, might have been the last time I used it. So, anyway, we've come to the end of another episode. I'm going to carry on seeding this field and we'll get this done. And then next episode, like I say, plenty more to come in spring. All sorts of jobs. And then hopefully, when the grass grows a bit more, we can start getting some grass work done. Yeah, it's all moving along apace, I believe, is how you say it. But I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. But that has just reminded me of something as well. If you don't have the little bell icon on your on my channel, on the subscription, hit that bell, because I know YouTube have said that on various different platforms and things like that, you don't always get notified when a video goes up. Hit that bell, you'll get notified when it comes up. They split things into gaming and non-gaming, and sometimes people that like gaming stuff aren't being notified when games are being released in gaming videos. So yeah, hit that bell. But whatever you should choose to do, as always, thanks for watching.